Low gravitrons. I'm more gravity. Let's play chess. About 3 moves into this game, in the Scandinavian defense. Let's see what happens. technically a win. Um, my streak is back. That's good. All right, now. Let's see. review all three of these games with an emphasis on the most recent one. Not gonna play another game. I have to be aware of my limits. First, then this one, then this one. Just a tactical collapse, so we don't need to go over this game in too much detail. This game, is this today? My opponent lost on time. It was an even middle game position, and my opponent's time ran out. So we won't get too in depth on that one either. This game, however, I think I want to review just about move for move. Turn some of the HVAC off and you'll be able to hear me better. Be more able to hear me. I changed the audio a bit on my system here to include, well, it doesn't matter, 2 streams of the same source, but I thought that would make me a little bit louder, and I'm not sure if that worked out well, so I will be checking chat post broadcast today. If there are people viewing and listening and they want to weigh in on that issue, then you may do so. You don't have to, of course, but I will be checking that. Am I too soft? Am I too loud? Is the HVAC more of a problem than it seems? Less of a problem than it seems? Things like that. I have the original source the way it was. And I added the same source again with a handicap to how loud it was. A significant handicap against how loud that second source is. And I think that just kind of has the effect net of loud, making the same source just a little bit louder, really. So you can weigh in on that. I won't hold any grudges or hand out any awards or prizes, but you can feel free to do so. All right, getting back to chess now. This is a good game. Let's start with a little bit of overview provided by chess.com's analysis and game review. 87.3 for the most part. I'm happy with an 87.3. I'm playing strong chess. A little bit more so even when it occurs in a 5-minute blitz. My opponent played well enough at 72.8%. These are percentages, I believe, and also within the same time frame. So not only that, my opponent had 2 great moves. Now let's go. I will review this game pretty much move for move. We have a Sicilian that I quickly sort of push into a this is a type of English defense, and, for right now I'm not ready to say which type. If we're going here, okay. I might be wrong about that. That might not be an English defense. Alright, anyway, we'll go back to the game. Here we are. Back to our analysis. I delete the comments just for. That's how I like to. That's what I like to do. And pawn to d6, knight f3, pawn to e5, knight c3. These moves have been played. There's nothing wrong with these moves, and we get this diamond formation in the center. Right, this kind of look like a Mario coin or something when I fill it in like that, but it's with the holes filled in, it looks like a Mario coin. Anyway, these formations arise very often in English openings and Sicilian games. Both sides have a hole to aim for. Like oftentimes, my knight's going to d5, and then black's current b8 knight goes to c6, and then might try to go to d4. White retains usually a slight edge, but can't really claim all that much more than that. As far as decisiveness, somewhere in the middle of the pack. These games are not like hugely decisive as a King's Gambit or a center game that leads to a Danish Gambit that leads to a Gambit on top of that. They're not quite as decisive as that, and they're not quite as drawish as Petrov defense or a Four Knights defense. Somewhere, in the middle of all that. Bishop g4 is a good move. It's a good pin. Bishop e6, it makes some sense. Bishop d7 makes some sense. I think bishop g4 is maybe slightly better than these other two options. My opponent played well there, and I'm glad to play h3. How about opponents or rivals getting along well here. I'm glad to play h3 because if my opponent goes in for this capture, now I think white is just slightly better, having developed the queen. He's lost a knight for bishop, so an equal trade on that with respect to that. But the queen's out here and exerting her influence on the game in a way that is also safe. Black's best chance to undo that safety would be knight c6 followed by knight d4, and that's an idea, but black chose just that, knight c6, and after bishop e3, I'm cutting out knight d4 more or less. I'll give up this bishop for a really advanced knight with a strong outpost like that. I'll give him up. My opponent's okay with that, so knight d4, and we're trading on d4. That all of a sudden, torque. All of a sudden, torch 4 doesn't like the capture here by white, and suggests instead queen d1, which controls the important c2 square from black's knight, so that my forces don't become forked by black's knight. And importantly, that's the square to do it. You go to e2 to cover that square, and zap, black's knight will get that queen. But queen d1 is fine for doing that. I don't know. Torch suggests queen d1. I'm fine with bishop takes d4, honestly. This knight is a monster. Maybe some of Torch's say so comes from the threat on c2, but also the only other way to get rid of the knight on d4 is put my own knight on e2, and I'm foregoing or leaving behind d5 and doing so, and then it's knight for knight. I don't know. I rather like the imbalance here. I feel, well, for one, with the imbalance, there's a couple parts about that. It's an imbalance. It's more decisive that way, and I feel in general that I'm a stronger chess player. Every chess player should believe that and think that when they get onto a chessboard. You always think at the beginning of the game, you always want to think that you're the stronger chess player. Okay, I'm sort of burgeoning into life lessons. But so I'm playing a move here that I think allows me to show that. Bishop takes d4, and then the recapture, and then just knight d5, knight d5, pawn takes d5. And the good to my point. The better I think I'll be the better player, and then I'll win. This board is almost completely symmetrical. Right, we look at many of the corresponding pieces are exactly where their opponent's piece would be. Start with these 6 pawns in this there, completely symmetrical. The bishop on e7 would be symmetrical if my bishop were on e2. The queens are off a bit, but not crazily so, not insanely so. We'll make a triangle for them. The kings are completely symmetrical. You know, it's actually interesting because in the symmetry, there's asymmetry. Dark squared bishop, light squared bishop. They're both the king's bishop, right? But that's asymmetry in terms of what square color they're on, which then leads to a more likely draw. So back to symmetry and evenness and equality and a tie and a draw. Bishops of opposite color square are likely to draw against each other. That's kind of funny. That's funny. I like that. And then where else are we with the symmetry? You know, some of the pawns are pretty darn unlike their counterparts. The rooks are like this 100%. We can even just color them in as the arrows are already there. So, yeah, a lot of symmetry. And let's see, who has the move? It is black to move. I think he's going castle. No. Okay, black played queen to a5 chess. You know, some chess players can recall move for move the games they've played. Isn't that cool? Like, if this were, you know, let's not go there. Some grandmasters would say, no, the next move was queen a5, just from memory even. Queen to b6. Bishop to e2, because he's got to move somewhere someday. And my opponent launches a bit of a pawn storm. A castle. I'm not going to stay here while the queen and the rook and potentially another rook and one, maybe 2 pawns crash down on the nearby queen side. So my king is now nice and settled on g1. Rook to b1. Okay, so my opponent launches this attack with a takes b4, and I'm alerted here by Torch that rook takes b4 is not the right response. I want to start by saying it does equal material. It also puts a very clear threat against black. There's got to be a reason or a tactic for why or how come this doesn't quite work for white. So I play rook to b4. One thing to check is just straight up tricks. Rook takes a3. And if I go, okay, thanks for the queen, then rook takes a1. Is it checkmate? It almost is. But it's not a back rank mate because I have the Luft on h2 and I can block it with d1 and in a safe and effective way. So it's not rook takes a3. That's wrong with rook takes b4. Let's start again. There's the possibility of pawn takes b4, right? Equaling the material, and I don't like that because of rook takes a1, rook takes a1, queen takes b4. A little bit. There's a pawn in that, so let's check Torch's suggestion. Bishop to d1. This is the time for the bishop to both get active on d1. Now he's influencing the game. And so the pawn's pinned. So these attacks on a3 are not good for black. He'll lose the rook to a pawn. This pawn is pinned. We can take him in. So bishop to d1. I want to say for black, maybe push the pawn to b3. But then, I guess part of the brilliance of bishop to d1 is that the rook at b1 and the bishop at d1, they're both covering b3, and that makes this enough for rook takes b3. Well, the computer went in a slightly different way. Let's try our version against practice. So we're taking the torch suggestion of bishop to d1. And now I like a takes b4. My opponent's throwing his queen against two rooks. And we've got, this is a game. This is an interesting game. The torch shows black with a lead on the progress bar, but okay. I don't know, in practice this might be difficult. White has fewer pieces to coordinate. Alright, so we'll leave that as it may. Maybe you want to go over that position, play against a chess friend as white, play against a chess friend as black. But we'll move on with our analysis knowing that rook takes b4 was not the greatest move. Black has one and only one great counter move, and that's a queen sacrifice on b4. Queen takes e4, queen takes b4, a takes b4, rook takes a1, and when I move king h2, it's a similar position to before, and I'm just down a bit of material now. White's down a bit of material now. I'll be there in a minute. Alright, and we see some of the... Part of my idea here is with a5 is to get the pawn out of the reach of any attacking queen. Look, this pawn is gonna be safe enough. Maybe it's more, you know, a6, a7. We're starting to talk promotion threats, but pawn to f5 here by black was a little bit, I think it's a bit much. I could simply capture, and first of all black would want to capture with the rook on f5. This is the fourth best move, and there are other moves like bishop g5, just ignoring the recapture of material and getting on with some kind of positional advantage or positional game with the bishop controlling more squares. I was glad to trade queens, and though material's even here, rook takes b7 might have been better, but with material even here, white's doing extremely well. Black's bishop is bad. Like we talk about bad, this is a bad bishop. This is a bad bishop. Maybe this bishop's going to f6 to be stable, or to g5 to influence more squares. Well, in general, this bishop is not anything compared to white's bishop, which is a light squared bishop, of course. But bishop e6 check will force white's king into the corner, and soon enough, rook takes b7, and then possibly rook takes b7, rook takes b7, and white's got a very powerful rook on the 7th rank. We're pushing a6 soon, we're pushing a7 soon. This is mostly as occurred in the game. I don't say that right. Yeah, so the promotion threat becomes unstoppable, at least not without sacrificing. At least not without black sacrificing his rook, and then that's it. You just play from here and finish it out. I'll do so. Crowd. All right. Okay. All right. I think that's it for this session, my folks, my friends. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Gravitrons. I'm more gravity. Have a great night.